boy, stop being lazy. Yeah, and I became creative. And I learned how to create it. And now that pride's for me. So come see. Oh, come here.
Welcome back to the Silver Lining. This is a QuickSilver reaction episode. I'm your host, Sterl Tide Boss, and this is my co-host, Camel Toe. What's up, Fat Cam? How you doing, my boy?
Hey, man.
Excuse me. Sorry. Before we get into the game, I do have to give a couple redactions. So last week I referred to the Las Vegas Raiders as the Oakland Raiders like 14 times. Nobody told me. That's y'all fault. I'm blaming y'all. And the other part is I think I may have a little undeservedly besmirched Rat Mayan's name a little bit. I compared his final year with Indianapolis to Kirk's year here, and I think Kirk might be a little worse than I gave credit for. So I remember thinking to myself when Matt Ryan went to the Colts, I said, I said something bad about it, but I remember something being off, like something like the Colts not holding the end of the deal or something. And I was like, wait a minute. I think one of the whole reasons Matt Ryan went there is because he was supposed to be running the ball real. They were supposed to just run the ball a bunch. Matt converts some third downs and shit. And, he was going to play for like 2-3 years, not really getting hit that much because they had that amazing O-line. Turns out in 13 games, not including this most recent one, Kirk Cousins had been sacked 25 times. So that's a little less than 2 sacks a game. That's like 1.9, 1.8 sacks a game, something like that. Matt Ryan, on the other hand, in the 12 games that he played for Indianapolis, was sacked 38 times. So that's more than 3 a game. Matt Ryan was back there getting goddamn killed. So that contributed a lot to the bad year that Matt had. But I just felt like I needed to point that out because even so, I don't think, especially after tonight's game, I wanted to make sure I point that out. Now I'm gonna flip it back over to you, Cam, man. What's your thoughts tonight, man? What you seen tonight?
Well, start with the Flowers. Defense played well. They played like they should play against a team that is 2-11. We gave up 9 points. We gave up a garbage time TD. Let them march down the field for a little last-second Hail Mary, which I didn't like how soft we played. But then again, we controlled the game for the majority of the time. It really should have been a 30-point game, but offense couldn't do a goddamn thing. But yeah, our defense played well. I like what I saw. Good run defense, good pass defense. Granted, they were playing against Desmond Ritter, so we knew what we were getting into. We got a lot of pressure, got some sacks. Did we force any turnovers on defense?
2, 3.
We forced a safety. We blocked 2 punts. We blocked a field goal.
Oh, okay. You saying different things, all the things. Yeah. No, you're right.
So
we had 2 picks, a forced fumble on defense to go along with those.
Yeah. So like special teams played well, defense played well. Offensively, we ran the ball pretty well.
Yep.
And that's pretty much all I can say on that.
Damn, boy, you done picked that bone clean, man. You ain't left nothing good for me to talk about. Because, look, we damn sure know. Look, this is a game against a 2-11 team that was on a 9 and now 10 game losing streak. This was a team that they as far as scoring defense, bottom 3 in the league. Yards per game though, they was all right. But as far as rushing offense, absolutely putrid. Like it was the worst rushing offense in the league. Which is fine if you got a Hall of Famer at quarterback. I mean, it's not fine, but if you have a Hall of Famer at quarterback, you still got an offense. If you got great receivers to pair with this quarterback, you still got an offense. But that's a team that they're on the third string quarterback. Their third string quarterback is a quarterback we have an intimate knowledge of. We knew that they wasn't about to be able to move the ball very well with the quarterback that they had, especially with a awful run game. Honest to God. Hey, you know what? Look, I always said Arthur Smith did it to himself. But when you see Desmond Ridder without that run game, you really see a mediocre quarterback. I'm not sure Desmond Ridder's an NFL quarterback, man. Um, and so, you know what? Our defense went out there. They said, "Hey, we get this piddly ass offense, an offense that can't run the ball, an offense that really can't move the ball at all. Well, we're gonna make them look the part." They had holes in their special teams game. Special teams had a good return, a big return by Avery Williams. That got it to the 45. Like you said, 2 block punts, a block field goal. Um, Special teams said, "Hey, we playing against a poor special teams. We about to beat them up and take advantage." But when our offense came out there and they got to face a piddly ass defense, Bijan looked good as usual. Tyler Algier had some good plays as usual. But I was thoroughly unimpressed with the offense. And I don't want to jump on here and be negative, right? Let's keep a certain perspective, right? We won a 4-game losing streak. We just got off the schneid. Congratulations, your Falcons are no longer on a 4-game losing streak. When you look them up and it says last game, you got a W, a green W, right? That's a victory, right? This is a game that your defense didn't give up. They didn't give up 10 points. They gave up single digits. That touchdown they gave up was unfortunate. I was a little disappointed by that because that would have marked our 3rd game of the year without giving up a touchdown. That would have just been, nice. And technically against the Chargers, we only gave up 9 points. Well, if you count the 2-point conversion, 11 points, but I don't count that off of a defensive score, that is. But yeah, in that game, they gave up 9 points from offensive drives. This is a game we give up 9 points. That is positive. This is also another game. I don't remember how many sacks we had, but we had like 4 or 5 sacks. That's 3 games in a row. Honest to God, I don't know if I'm about to piss y'all off, but when the draft come up, we might want to take a look at a corner instead of a pass rusher. Sit down. Sit down right now. Get back in your chair. All right, just listen, hear me out. All right, now we've seen that the scheme has changed a little. They run a lot more man coverage. And what else we've seen from our last 3 games is that when the other team doesn't really have good receivers, we can really lay it on that other team. If they don't, if our guys don't really have to worry about too much about their coverage responsibilities, we can really put it on them in pass rush and really put it on them in coverage on the back end, right? And then next thing you know, you holding offenses to single digits scoring. But when you play a team that got some horses, like with Minnesota, all of a sudden you're giving up big plays. It might be more valuable to us to get somebody or somebodies that can cover so that we can marry the coverage with the pass rush like we've done for the last few games, as opposed to, maybe getting another pass rusher. And then we seeing right now that apparently the pass rush was fine. No.
Hey, it's the Raiders.
It's the Raiders, but I didn't bring up just this one game. I brought up the last 3.
No, that's
Guess
true.
what else? It was true. Also the Vikings. Got pass rush against them. It was also the Chargers with Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt at tackles. Or Joe Alt Jr. As tackles. So, there's that. So look, I think we done, play with everybody's balls long enough. It's time to go ahead and acknowledge the elephant in the room. Kirk Cousins, right?
Yeah.
Part of the elephant, he didn't have the worst night ever. He did throw a pick. He was off on some throws. He threw a touchdown to me. I'm like, all right, whatever. That was a wide open receiver. But I think the biggest issue that I saw was it looks like the coaching staff didn't want to trust Kirk with the ball. Not very much. We dropped back very little in this game. We ran the ball in situations that basically showed that we were not trying to be aggressive in this game. We were not trying to get the ball downfield, trying to go for third and longer distances through the air. We weren't really like really go for it, not just like throw it under, get 8 yards and kick a field goal. Which speaking of which, while the special teams was amazing, Young Wei Koo with another miss, 42-yard miss, could have taken all of the drama out at the end of this game. But Falcons gonna Falcon. And unfortunately, at least of this year, Koo's gonna Koo. And that's how that cookie crumble. What are your thoughts on how Kirk played and what you think the coaching staff thinks of Kirk? Do you think it's time for us to move on to Michael Penix? What's your thoughts, my man?
You made a very good point. It looked as if the coaching staff doesn't trust Kirk. It looks as if the play calling has been dialed down a bit. We're just trying to make Kirk as comfortable as possible, make the reads as easy as possible. Majority of the time, he just dumps it down. To Bijan. Every now and then he'll hit Darnell or more frequently Ray. Maybe even Drake a little bit on the crossing route. But even then, I feel like we haven't really run a lot. We haven't run much play action. And the biggest thing of all is Kirk doesn't look like he trusts himself. He looks uneasy. He looks indecisive. At times he looks scared. At times he looks like he doesn't know what to do with the ball. He doesn't trust his reads. He doesn't trust what he's seeing. Kirk doesn't look good, and his confidence is shot. And it could be a variety of things. At one point, I'll put it this way: Kirk looks so bad that I can tell it's even affecting Raheem, because Raheem is even right at the beginning of the year. Raheem coached very aggressively because he felt like he had the quarterback who could do so. He felt like he had a guy who had that mojo, that moxie, who can make those plays, and we thought he could do so because he was doing so during Kirktober. But lately, Kirk hasn't been able to make those plays. He didn't throw a touchdown in 4 games. You know what they're making Raheem do? Coach more
conservatively.
Conservatively. That's the word I'm looking for. More conservatively, more defensively. That's how Raheem has been coaching. There have been a couple times where we've had some pretty makeable fourth down calls. Well, fourth down plays where we could have gone for it, and we chose not to. The biggest one was that 4th and goal on the 1 against Minnesota.
Yeah.
And he chose to kick. He chose to put points on the board and kick that ball. Raheem earlier in the season would have went for it.
Absolutely.
He's not now because he does not trust Kirk. He does not believe Kirk has what it takes. And I don't know if they're hiding an injury or if Kirk just simply has the yips. I'm not sure. But the way he's playing is not good enough to win. Like, we won in spite of Kirk today. Like, we played to not lose today. And that's not how you want to play. That's not how you want to coach. But that's how we coach. That was the game plan, to not lose against a dog shit team. We didn't look good. Like, and I can't even say we didn't look good. The offense didn't look good.
Right. The defense looked
Special
great.
teams look great. Special teams look great aside from the one Young Wei Koo miss. Defense looked fantastic aside from the bullshit garbage time touchdown they gave up. We look fantastic as a team, man. Offense doesn't look good, and I can't even really blame the whole offense because I can't really blame the receivers. I can't really blame the running backs. I gotta blame Kirk and Zach because they're the real problem on the team right now.
I think the O-line was a little shaky in pass protection too. Some of that was because of Kirk. I think Kirk, he just wasn't decisive with the ball. But yeah, we gave up way too many sacks to a team that sucks ass getting to the quarterback.
And Max Crosby wasn't even playing.
Christian Wilkins is on IR as well.
Who knows if that team was helping? We might
like they literally have 2 All-Pro players not on the field. How many times did Kirk get sacked tonight? I don't have the stats up in front of me. I know Kirk threw for like 143 yards. He basically didn't, or maybe less than that. I think that was what Desmond Ridder threw for before his Hail Mary attempts. But Yeah, I think Kirk got sacked like 4 times, maybe more.
Kirk played like a game manager today. He went 11 for 17, 112 yards, one TD, one interception, 3 sacks.
Oh my goodness. Look, I think for me, the most appalling thing about the game plan is that we could have switched quarterbacks with the Raiders and got the same results.
Oh,
We could have
absolutely.
we literally had the Ritter game plan.
We
You
did.
so scared of turning the ball over with your quarterback that you installed the game manager game plan.
You know what's funny? Kirk regressed into Ritter, and Raheem is regressing into Arthur Smith. And he is because of bad quarterback play.
Yeah, that shit holds your team down. Look, infamous words. When Raheem first took over, he said, "Hey, if this team got better quarterback play, I might not be here."
Hey, if he don't get better
Little did he
quarterback play,
know how right that was. Because guess what? Now you're getting that same play.
if he don't get better quarterback play, he might not be here anymore much longer.
Boy, look
He gonna have to
here.
make a decision for his job's sake. He gonna have to make a decision for his team's sake because he doesn't want to lose their locker room. And right now, there have been reports that say, "Hey, we think FedEx is the better guy." Now
You
they're
know,
sticking with Kirk. They're sticking with Kirk, and I don't think that's the wrong decision to make. At the end of the day, you just ended a 4-game skid, and you did it in spite. You did it in spite of Kirk, but yet you still did it. And who we got next? The Giants. You kind of got to learn how to have the will again. And this is our home game too.
yeah.
It's a home game. You got to let Kirk have the will on this one. I I think he'll play hopefully better than what he did today, and then he can still build upon this. Hopefully, we'll have back-to-back wins under our belt. Hopefully, my prediction comes true. I still don't think the Bucks are going to win out. I think the Bucks lose one more game, but we have to win out. So hopefully we can go. Hopefully we can have a 2-game win streak going into Washington. And if by some miracle we can pull that one off, we got Carolina at home. And they look like who knows what kind of Carolina we'll get. It's a division rivalry game, of course.
Yeah, man. I
But
don't
at the
know.
same time, Bryce isn't invincible. That can go either way. So I still think things can fall in our direction. But the way Kirk's playing, it honestly doesn't really matter because we're going to get dog walked by anybody worth a damn in the playoffs if we can even make it that far.
Look. Now I people who've watched know that I've been pretty critical of Kirk in the past. On at least of his recent play, right? I'm a Kirk fan, but I've been critical of Kirk this year with how his play has been. But despite that, I've always thought it the right decision to stick with Kirk. This game has really damaged that foundation of that belief, even despite a win. I thought a W would keep me from just thinking that I want to see Penix at least keep those thoughts at bay. I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way because that we've officially reached such a conservative level and such a fear of your quarterback failing that I don't see what the difference is between him and a rookie quarterback.
You
Like I just don't see what the difference is.
make
Like
a very
you're
valid
not
point.
getting any of the benefits that you get with a veteran. Like your veteran, if you maybe your veteran don't got the big arm, maybe your veteran not as mobile. Your veteran make good decisions with the ball. Your veteran get the ball out on time. Your veteran at least confident in what he's seeing.
I
Right? It
guess
was like with Andy
oh,
Dalton and Bryce Young. You know what I'm saying? Bryce Young's supposed to be the future. But when Bryce Young wasn't playing good, them boys put Andy Dalton in. And you know
mhm.
what? Andy Dalton was still the same Andy, backup version of Andy Dalton he's been over the last few years. But you know what that is? That's a quarterback that he can move a little bit when you need him to move a little bit. That's a guy that if he got an explosive play available to him, he gonna go get that. He gonna make quick
Mhm.
decisions with the ball. They're not always the best decisions. You know, maybe he'll be a little late on the throw here or there. He'll still throw a pick every now and again, but for the most part, you're gonna get functional play. With Kirk, man, I'm not seeing it. And look, I think the reason they're sticking with it is because they've already gone out and said the things they said about how we're not going to be picking this high again because, we got a good quarterback and, we done gave this quarterback all this money. So they want to stick with him to justify what they did. And I'm here to tell you, look, one of my favorite sayings, this applies to life, this applies to Falcons football. Just because you spent a long time making a mistake doesn't mean you have to spend a long time fixing it.
Sunken
All
cost
right.
fallacy, brother. You don't have
Sunken
to.
cost fallacy, absolutely.
You can stop.
Um,
You don't have to keep doubling down on this.
you do not have to. I'm like, look, hey man, sometimes the wheels fall off. You gave him a bag, he gave you some good games, and you know what? He's a 36-year-old quarterback with a goddamn torn Achilles. He's like a third round, a fourth round pick. That man made the most of his career. Good for Kirk. Right? Hey, as a Kirk fan, I'm proud of Kirk's career. All right, I know he get a lot of shit from fans on the league. I'm proud of Kirk's career, but shit, sometimes man, you reach the end of the road, and all these this Tom Brady and Drew Brees playing till like they 40 got everybody thinking that's just what it is. And to be fair, I have been lax about guys playing like later, but like Tom Brady was a freak about his health. Tom Brady did everything to make sure he stayed. Look at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers looking like a shell of himself. The whole league done turned against Aaron Rodgers. Everybody done turned against Aaron Rodgers, forgetting because you know why? Because now everything Aaron Rodgers say, but now his play don't match up with that. Now he just can't do the things you've seen him do. Now he's starting to forget those good plays. You know what I'm saying? With Drew Brees, well, he retired like 40. The last like few years of his career, he was a fucking shell of himself. He had a water pistol arm.
But you said exactly what a good quarterback does. Yeah, your arm is shot. Yeah, you can't be mobile, but you know how to read defenses. You know how to anticipate throws. Drew Brees could still do all that with that noodle arm. Hell,
He should have.
Even Matt Ryan could for a little bit.
Yeah, with that
Matt
noodle
Ryan
arm,
was
yeah.
there. Granted, we complained about him underthrowing some deep balls towards the end. I ain't gonna lie, I was the main like, hey Matt, get it out
Hit him
earlier.
in
You know,
stride, bro. Yeah,
like, damn. But hey, Matt Ryan still had it up here, man.
he did,
Kirk is
bro.
always showing that he don't got it in his arm, he don't got it in his feet, and he don't got it up here, man. It's looking bad.
No, you said something key when you were talking earlier. Confidence, man. I think it has gotten to Kirk. I think maybe Kirk can sort it out at some point, but 5 straight games with a turnover.
He
Five
fumbled today, didn't
straight games. No, he had a pick. Now to be fair now, the pick, that ball got tipped.
he? Yeah.
And I might have slowed it down just enough for the defender to get there, but it's not a good look. All right. After a while, it's like I can only I can't. It's hard. It gets harder and harder to excuse those picks, even when they just chance picks that could have been a pick, no matter who was throwing the ball. When you already been turning the ball over as much as he has.
Hey, I'm gonna say this, big
You know what I'm
dog.
saying? Because he's got blood on his hands. He's already cost us a game. That's blood on his hands, as far as I'm concerned. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying? So I look at every pick differently.
these like the front office, the coaching, they gonna keep justifying and keep doubling down on Kirk, and they gonna keep doing it until they double down themselves out of a job. That's
Yeah.
what's fucking happen because
Look.
Terry, granted, I will give Terry some credit. He puts us in some situations, but they're not long term situations. We can get out these motherfuckers quick. Kirk, if we get rid of Kirk next year, it's gonna suck because it's like a $50 million cap hit. But that's it. We out quick. And that's really why they don't want to get rid of Kirk like this, because they really want Kirk to be a quarterback for next year too.
Exactly. Exactly.
Financially wise, it makes sense. You want to bring him back in. You don't want this year to go to waste, and then next year, like, damn, I got Kirk, so I'm paying $50 million for a guy who's my backup now. I get why you don't want to do it, but it's eventually going to get to a point where you're willing to risk your job over some money.
Hey.
And I'm like, are you really willing to do that? Hell, look at Matt Flynn and Russell Wilson. There are a multitude of situations. Hell, look at this just this year. Justin Fields was 4-2. They just come off a dub. And what does Mike Tomlin say? You're not good enough. Russ, come in. You're ready now. And
Yep.
now look at him like, hey, Raheem, he not only is he coaching for, I would say he's coaching for his job this year, but he's coaching for the locker room.
Yeah.
Because they're showing cracks. They're showing signs like, hey, you keep saying next man up, but the best man ain't at the helm right now.
They,
So you're not holding everybody accountable. You holding us accountable, but you holding his hand. You babysitting Kirk. That's not a good look.
bro, they changing the whole offense to accommodate Kirk in a negative way. You should accommodate your quarterback. You should change your offense to fit your quarterback's strengths. That's not what's happening. Today, they changed the offense to just stay away from his weaknesses. Like
Yes.
my whole thing is I'm not all right, maybe Kirk is cooked, maybe he's not. But if you're really gonna be in on Kirk, you need to be in on Kirk. You need to be trying to do everything you can to make the offense fit by Kirk. You're not doing that. Kirk Cousins, best in the NFL on the play action, basically, at least, with touchdowns, with most touchdowns in the league from play action over the last few years. And you run play action, at least in the league, right? You
Knowing
keep
damn
calling
well
these
there's gonna be a
concepts
shell
and wanting
game.
Kirk to throw outside the numbers instead of throwing the numbers where he's been one of the most prolific quarterbacks doing that. And if you're going to be hard-headed and keep doing that, put in the player that best is able to do that. Put in the guy that is best able to execute it. Like y'all, you burning the candle on both ends with that shit. You're not running the offense in the way that best works for him, and you're not putting in the best player that works for the offense that you are running. You know what I'm saying? Because we're gonna sit up here and we're gonna bash Kirk, and I'm gonna make the thumbnail, and it's gonna be about Kirk. But Zach Robinson is not helping the situation.
He's not.
Right, he is not helping the situation, man. Like Kirk Cousins is not getting to do like we not seeing the best version of Kirk Cousins,
We're
and
not
not
playing to his
because
strengths.
exactly we not helping Kirk be the best version of himself, and Kirk having problems turning the ball over. And instead of tailoring the offense to be better to more to what he is, you playing conservative Kirk. You trying to stay away just from turning the ball over, and I'm just like. We got lucky because we did not play to win this game. We played not to lose.
And you
Right?
can't do like
Like,
that in the
how
NFL.
many fucking weeks you gonna be able to eat off of a block field goal, 2 block punts, 4 sacks, 3 turnovers? How many weeks you gonna eat like that?
Next week. That's it.
That's probably it. And that's yeah. Like they look the Giants are pretty much the NFC version of the Raiders. Right? I will say this though. Now they got some more dogs up front than do the Raiders. So we gonna have to be careful with their D line a little bit. But once you get past that, they do got a horse. They got Malik Neighbors. But pass catchers not particularly impressed at New York. They got a hell of a lot of disarray at quarterback. Defense giving up points. Like we gonna get the same guys, but I think I'm thoroughly disappointed. I knew that it wasn't going to be a curb stomp of a game, but we won 15-9, which I forgot to announce the final score when we came on. Falcons won 15-9 in case you just listened and didn't watch the game. We 13 points on offense. We had a safety. We had
Terrible.
2 of those turnovers and the block punts put us near or beyond the 50-yard line. So we had a bunch of drives with really good field position to start going against a bad defense on Monday when you get an extra day to practice. And this is what we did. I'm starting and this is where I want to start getting on Zach now. Kirk did turn that ball over 4 times against the Chargers, but coming out of a bye week, we scored 13 points. Then this week, we getting a bad team. They got a patchwork defense. It's Monday, so you get an extra day of practice. And you put up 13 points on offense. You get a bunch of turnovers and block punts, and that puts you in plus territory. and you put up 13 points on offense. You know, what is going on? You know what I mean? Like this is like the pitfalls of being a Falcons fan. You watch this team. You watch this team go 1 week and they you know they shit in the bed, but they found a way to pull out against the Saints. But then on a short week, on a 4-day week, with the offense looking shaky as hell, your quarterback throw for 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, and y'all score 36 points as an offense. Then the next game, you score 38. Then you got a little hiccup against the Seahawks. But then you come out and score 31 again on the road. And then, you know, you beat Dallas. You put up 27, all offensive touchdowns, and then crickets. And
4 straight weeks.
like it's such a fall off, and I'm like, well, you were doing it before. You proved you could do it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see the fall off so hard, you wonder, is it because we've reached a point in the year where they figured it out? Do they know your tendencies now? Do they know Kirk's tendencies? Like what happened that made Kirk unable to trust what he's seeing? Because he damn sure trusted everything he saw on that Thursday night game against the Bucks. So what's happening that he's not trusting what he's seeing? What's happening that Zach Robinson is unable to get him any guys open? Like, except for that touchdown pass out of Drake London, a lot of these guys not open.
It's bad.
And
It's bad schemes and it's bad play by Kirk.
you know, and the inability to do the things that Kirk. I'm like, look, and look. Then I got to start looking at Raheem. Raheem, your house ain't in order, my boy.
That's what I'm saying, bro. You gonna pick 2 rookie play callers to start your
hey, we got to give the credit where it's due, though.
And look at it now, man. Jimmy's starting to get better, and Zach is regressing, dog. We had the complete opposite takes to start this year. Zach was coaching all right, and Jimmy was doing them down slow, and now it's slowly starting to flip. I'm like, dog, this ain't a good look for you, my man. Raheem, your house is in disarray. Your quarterback is in disarray. How you gonna right the ship, Raheem? Because the team is looking at you. The fans are looking at you. Ownership is looking at you. Somebody, if we don't make the playoffs this year, somebody's getting fired. If we don't,
so let me tell you something I saw. So, because you know we got to go up the whole chain of command. You know we can't just get mad about what we saw on the field. We got to talk about everybody. So I saw that the Jets were looking at Thomas Dimitroff.
I saw that.
Hope they hire him. He's a great guy, great GM. Really enjoyed however the fuck long he was here. Like, what was that, 12 years, I think? 2008 to 2020, I believe. Appreciate everything the guy did. All right. I swear to God, if we could have had Terry Fontenot and Thomas Dimitroff and just fused them into Terry Dimitroff. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
Thomas Fontenot. God damn it, we might have a fucking functional organization.
Yeah.
Because like Terry couldn't draft O lineman for shit, but boy, I mean Thomas Dimitroff couldn't draft O lineman for shit, but man, he knew how to handle his skill position players. He knew how to handle his skill position guys on defense too. Terry is kind of a shitty drafter, man.
He's a terrible drafter. He's decent at free agency.
Honestly, the one thing that makes him decent though ain't that he hitting on all his free agent ones. Like, let me ask you this: despite how shitty Thomas Dimitroff was at building up the O line and D line, which one got him, in your opinion? Which one do you think got him fired? His inability to fix those positions, or his inability to get cap relief after giving out the contracts he gave out?
The latter.
The latter. my man's Terry. I mean, my man Tommy was my
Giving out
man Tommy
lifetime
was getting
deals.
fronts from everybody and not paying them back. That man
Yeah,
said, "Hey
giving out
man,
lifetime
front me a
deals.
half, man. Front me a whole." You know what I'm saying? And then Terry in the hole, man. But I'll tell Thomas in the hole, but I'll give Terry this much. At least Terry structure a lot of the contracts where, thank God, we're not gonna be like super stuck in all of these. We can walk away from almost all of these contracts. But I'm like, hell, if that's the case, then shit. But like, seriously, look, we got to get serious about like making a decision about what's the plan at quarterback. What's the right plan at quarterback? Because the where I keep having all these doubts is when I see Zach Robinson unable to pull together the right game plan for Kirk, I'm scared that he's not going to be able to help Michael Penix develop the proper way. Right? He could ruin Michael Penix if we're not careful. The main reason though why I'm for Penix is, well, if you're gonna run the offensive run, Penix is gonna be the best guy for that. If you're just gonna be hard headed and not give Kirk the offensive design, the offensive philosophy that works best for him, you got to do that. And look, we got to address some other elephants in the room, man. Like I said, Kirk is 36 with a bad Achilles. For all we know, he might have just given us all he had in the beginning, and this is what Kirk is now. Now I'm not saying that's the case. We've seen this year, right? But we haven't been super impressed by the arm strength necessarily all year. It's not like, his physical skills are getting better. He was just quick and decisive with the ball. And maybe I don't know if Penix will give us that, but what I know is Penix is aggressive. And Penix got a big arm. And Penix can get the ball down the field in these situations that, Kirk kind of lacking. Some of these plays where Kirk arm strength kind of turned the play into a pick, that ball gonna fly off Penix's hand. I'm always a little nervous. I scouted Penix a lot, and he got a little bit of an overthrow problem for sure. But if they think he's ready, and if they saying that he's good to go in practice, it's time to say, hey, what's best and what's fair for the team. All right. Now, God, I had something I was thinking about. It slipped me. It was about what was it about? I forgot. I forgot. If it comes back though, I'll bring it back up. Um, but yeah, look, got a W now. Unfortunately, the Chargers got smacked up by the Bucks. I wasn't fully surprised, so I did earlier pick the Chargers, but to beat the Bucks, but that was before we played them. I said it either on Reddit or on YouTube. I was talking to some Chargers fans. This was after we lost and Kurt threw 4 picks, and they was like, "Oh man, give." I think it was YouTube because I was watching Steve Palazzolo and goddamn, what's the other guy? It's the guys who used to be on Pro Football Focus, but now they got their own show. Check the mic, right? And when they were talking about it, they were, talking about the game, and I guess Chargers fans felt like they weren't getting enough credit. They said, "Hey man, we fooled Kirk, da 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 da," right? And I was like, man, relax. No, y'all didn't, man. Kirk been doing this shit for like the last few games. And I'm looking at these, and some of these he not getting fooled. He just not getting the ball there, getting the ball where it's supposed to be. But the thing that I saw was we really stymied that offense. We really like put the clamps on them. And that gave me shades of 2020 when we played the Chiefs, and the Chiefs was rolling that year. It was
Mm-hmm.
tearing everybody ass up with that offense. Then we came up in there and we kind of put the clamps on them, and they kind of had a real hard time scoring and was turning the ball over a lot. And then that basically laid the blueprint for them to get beat later on. But same thing with the Chargers. We basically put the blueprint out on them, and now teams starting to expose them. That blueprint out on them. Now we seeing that the Bucks taking out, and this ain't gonna be it. The Chargers gonna do some more. They're gonna get exposed some more. But it's late. It's almost 1 a.m. on the East Coast. If you're listening. Cam trying doing his best. He fighting the hell out of the Sandman, but the Sandman beating the fuck out of Cam right now. hey, this Cam fighting the Sandman. Punch the Sandman. Punch. But yeah, look. Cam, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Hey man, it's hard, man. Watching that Falcons game was like a dose of Robitussin, man. It was like a Benadryl before bed, bro. That shit put me to sleep.
All right. Well, look, we're gonna have more to say later on. They got to play the New York and Atlanta next week. We'll talk about that and any more thoughts between now and then because there's a couple things we didn't address, but we'll get on that stuff later. Really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, hit the little bell when you want to know some real niggas uploading. Peace.
Peace.